Welcome back, YouTube family. Today I'm discussing grit versus positivity, or shall I say, grit compared to positivity. They're both needed. I feel like they're both relatable, but I feel like people often get them confused. I personally would describe grit as a drive within you that pushes you through hard times. Grit is inspired by passion and anger and frustration and a lot of emotions. I think grit is a lot more personal. It's a lot more deeper of a fire. We could even say grit is more of a character trait. It's something that sticks with you. So I pulled up here the definition of grit on Google, and it says courage and resolve, a strength of character. An example was he displayed true grit of the Navy pilot. While Urban Dictionary says grit is reliability, integrity. Also uses the example, yeah, I heard he has a lot of grit. While I would say positivity is more of a mood. It comes and goes. We could even say positivity is like an approach to something. Well, I also pulled up the Google definition of positivity, and it says it's the state of being positive, having an optimistic and hopeful attitude, focusing on the good aspects of life. It says positivity can also be a practice of having thoughts, feelings, and actions. Both of these can be very hard to practice as a person. But which one would you describe yourself as? Gritful person or a person full of positivity? I'd say I'm a little bit of both. I have a lot of grit in me. Kind of like I mentioned in my return video, I'm a naturally positive person because why not? I've spent enough of my life dealing with emotions and anger. The world is always trying to distract us with that stuff. Deep down, everybody wants to be happy. Everybody wants to be loved. So live your best life for you, whatever makes you happy. My grit has always shown more in hard times, sports games, and betting and competing. Often I find myself in conversations with friends and family, and they tell me I'm so positive. And some have even gotten upset about it, as if I'm diminishing their feelings, and that is never the case. That's not my intention to anybody watching this video. It's not always my positivity in me that makes me say something uplifting to someone. Yeah, of course I love to do that. Yeah, that's naturally me. But as I've had my own tribulations lately, it's more so been my grit keeping me going. It's an idea of how bad do you want it? What are you gonna continue to deal with, and what do you want as a person? I feel like we all have grit inside of us. Grit is relatable to like a survival mode too, a survival instinct. We all have an ability to do for self eventually. Grit and positivity can be practiced through different exercises. For me, with my injuries and some other personal things going on in life, it started as positivity. Let's just come at it with the best attitude, pray on it. It started as that until other things happened and I had to switch on my grit. Practice grit through accepting hard truths, laying out your options. Speaking from my own point of view, is that I had to be realistic about my needed steps to going forward, what was making things worse for me, what was making things better. I said every day gets hard, but you have to motivate yourself by comparing your outcomes and reminding yourself of your standards, your wants, and your why. Find someone who can relate to you, who will hold you accountable, and someone who you envision yourself to be like, just to give you a little bit of light in the tunnel when you're down and you can't see where to go next. It could always be worse, it could always be better. And remind yourself that at one point you were doing worse than where you are today. You woke up, there's still another chance. The more you overcome things as an individual, the more confidence you will build in yourself, the more confidence, the more easier it is to have faith, and in turn turns into positivity. And again, I feel like this all ties back to the word grit. That's just my personal suggestions. But I also wanted to pull up on my laptop some ways to practice these things. When I Googled some more ways to practice positivity, it mentioned focus on the good in general, in the situation or in life or whoever you're dealing with. It says practice gratitude. That's a big one for me. Like I said, waking up every day and going to bed every day, being thankful for what you have and what you overaccomplished. It says mindfulness, pay attention to things that create stress and practice on reducing them. Another big thing would be breathing techniques. 4 in, hold, 4 out, the 4 seconds. And then self-care. I think self-care is a big one to practice positivity, because why would you not care for yourself? You know, I understand times get hard, but at the end of the day, it's you versus you. It's you versus the world. If you're blessed to have a team, if you're blessed to have a family, that's even more fortunate. But at the end of the day, it's all on the individual. Nobody's gonna make things happen for you. Nobody's gonna love you the way that you want them to. You have to create standards, and you have to love yourself first. To conclude, I gave my personal examples of grit versus positivity and how I practice them and how I think of them. And then I gave some examples from Google and some articles that I found online explaining about positivity versus grit, the definitions of each one, and how to help on those individually. To anybody out there struggling, dig deep, focus on your whys, find out what means most to you, find out what makes you happy, find out what you need to get rid of, keep going, count your blessings. I hope this helps someone. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. Comment and let me know what else you would like to see. And I'm wishing you the best. I'm praying for you, my friend. Let's keep striving.